Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tekken Talk Shorts, the shorter form of the Tekken Talk podcast. Today, we will be talking about what Tekken 8 needs to do, or I guess what needs to happen from the game side for the launch to be successful. And when I say from the game side, I mean I'm not including content creators or what the community needs to do. I'm talking about how the game needs to function or what needs to be in the game to have a really successful launch. And this is mostly based off of kind of observing and following other fighting game launches in the past maybe like 6 years and speculating on what Tekken 8 needs to get right. And so I think the most important thing, most people will agree, is the netcode and the online play needs to be good. Ideally, it's great, but for the launch to be successful, and when I say successful, I mean like get off to a strong start, have Tekken 8 pick off right where Tekken 7 left off, and even expand and grow from there. But that all starts with the online play being functional, right? The netcode needs, if you have disconnections every other match, if you have frame drops like in a closed beta test, I mean, this will turn off like a lot of players, especially a lot of players coming from other fighting games who have good netcode. So if I'm coming from Guilty Gear Strive and in my first Tekken 8 match, I have like frame drops every other interaction, that's a big problem. And that's not just the netcode issue, right? I think there were a lot of people in the CBT, including myself, suffering like brief performance drops that were unexplained. Like, at least I'm on PC. My PC is well above the minimum requirements. I think I got like a 480 PC score or whatever, that like performance score. And I would be at steady 60 in practice mode, right? And I would try and get the frame to drop, and I just couldn't do it. And then in some random interaction in practice mode, the frame would drop to like 50 and jump back up to 60. And that would happen online. And I know I'm not the only person who experienced that. So hopefully that gets ironed out. Um, the other thing that I think is pretty important for the launch to be successful is the story mode character variety. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, from the creators who have gotten to play like a lengthy portion of the story mode, I think to the end of the first chapter, they have all said they have only played Jin in the story mode. And of course, in the demo, you also only get to play Jin. And so, the reason why I think this might be an issue is, especially if I'm a newer player and I'm going online, I don't want to only play against Jins. Or maybe I do. But I think if the story mode only has you play against Jin for hopefully at least 6 hours, right? Hopefully the story mode is at least a 6 hour experience. Then I think most people are going to lean towards playing Jin as a character. And he's already one of the most popular characters. So I think ensuring this character variety online, I think is a good and like healthy thing to have for the launch of a game. And I think that comes back to in the story mode, first chapter, okay, you only play as Jin, but then in the preceding chapters, hopefully we get to at least play as like Reina, Azucena, and Victor, as they're the newcomers. Um, so then going into the final point that I want to make today is by the time Evo Japan rolls around, there is hopefully not a super busted character. And the reason why this is important is because Evo Japan for Tekken 8 will likely have ridiculous viewership. Ridiculous viewership. Because it's the first major, like really major tournament of Tekken 8. I think it's in March or April. And if the top 8 is like 7 of one character or 6 of one character, then a lot of people tuning in are probably going to be turned off, right? Because already mirror matches, I think, don't appeal to most of the people watching a Tekken tournament. And if you have a lot of mirror matches, especially on the finals day where the viewership is at its peak, I think that could actually impact Tekken 8's kind of competitive appeal to a lot of people. So my main concern currently is Azucena's running 3-2. Like, it's a meme. At the Red Bull event, I think last weekend, they were talking to Super Kuma about Azucena, and they're like, what are the key moves? I think Spag asked Super Kuma, what are the key moves? And Super Raccoon was like, running 3-2. And he's like, what about something else? He's like, delayed running 3-2. Like, he didn't say that, but so I'm a little bit worried about um, by the time Evo Japan rolls around, I just hope that we see a decent character spread in the finals so that the audience is like interested and happy and hyped about the game. I guess I want to say one last point, or I guess two last points that I just remembered. One is the heat system. Hopefully, it doesn't lead to any like insane glitches or crazy interactions. I know that's always a danger with a new system. And the other last point is just a positive one. I think leading up to Tekken 8's launch, the Bandai Namco team have done a great job, specifically with community engagement. So, unlike Tekken 7, it seems like in Tekken 8, they're actively working with the community to give players tutorials, information about characters, and previews that are just way more hands-on and way more engaging than anything out of Tekken 7. So that's been really exciting. And of course, the advertising and marketing team has clearly had like a huge budget and they've been doing a great job. So I'm really hyped for the launch in a couple days. Hope you're all are too. I kind of wanted to put this list and these thoughts out there so that in a couple of weeks we can kind of reevaluate and see how the launch did go. And if it went great, that's great. If it didn't, I'm curious to see how the Tekken team will handle it and how often they'll patch the game. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for listening and have a great Tekken 8 launch.